Hey, I'm Joyce, your assistant principal champion, and this channel is all about the path to assistant principalship and how to sustain your sanity during your assistant principalship. Because the reality is, not everyone has a support system and a support network when you're looking for this job or trying to be an assistant principal, or when you are one. So if you are not fortunate to have the support that you are looking for, hopefully this channel will help you. So today, this video is all about what I wish I knew when I first became an assistant principal. Now, as a principal, my lens is completely different. And so I look back and I'm like, how can I help our new assistant principals, those who are trying to get in this seat, those who have been in this seat and need some support? How can I help you? So I want to give you 5 things that I wish that someone would have told me. Number 1, and this is something that I had to deal with through my first year, and every other year I'm probably going to be in administration, but you just can't make everybody happy. That's just not realistic. So whether it's a parent or a teacher, you're just not going to make everyone happy. It's just, you work with adults and people, okay, so you come into this position, they've already vetted you, they've already asked all of their friends if they knew you, and they've already pre-formed their opinions about you. That's reality. You can come in and you can do an amazing job, but they're not always gonna like the way you look, the way you speak, the way you dress. The decisions that you make, you're not gonna be able to please everyone. Someone is always going to disagree with what you say. That is okay. Now, I even deal with that to this day. Going into a principalship and being an assistant principal who had 7 years in the district and worked with multiple people already prejudged me, right? They had no clue who I was. They didn't give me the opportunity to showcase who I was or even try and attempt to build a relationship. It was automatically, this is who she is, who I think and I'm assuming she's going to be based off of how she dresses, how she speaks, her age. It is reality. So I just have had to tell myself multiple times, I'm just not going to please everyone, and neither are you, and that's okay. The biggest part though is you have to be fair. So I often find myself saying to people, if they ask me, for instance, here's an example, hey, can you increase my copy limit this month? And it's the 10th of the month, and I have to say no, because if I do for you, I have to do for everyone. That's just the reality. In my conscience, I cannot say okay to you if I can't say okay to someone else. It's just very hard for me to do that. And so I often lean towards that phrase and say, if I do for you, I've got to do for everyone. And people typically understand. Number 2, documentation saves you. Okay, so I know that people have heard this. If you didn't write it, it didn't happen. If you didn't document it, it didn't happen. You can say all of the things and tell people all of the things, but if you don't have written documentation, somebody's going to go against you and say that you never said that. I know. It happens all the time. My mouse, not my current mouse pad, but there's a mouse pad right next to it so that I don't cover it, says document it. It's a reminder. In my conference room, I bought this little plaque that says document it. Now, I'm going to tell you, document everything. Every conversation you have, the best that you can. You can keep a log, right? Maybe you have a Google Drive that you can keep logs with each of your teachers and the conversation that you had, the follow-up that's needed. You also can keep a notepad. That's easy. And I would highly, highly suggest that when you're giving feedback, whether it is instructional feedback or a situation that you need to be fixed or addressed, or you're delegating something, follow up in email. Because you can tell someone to do something, but that doesn't mean that they're going to do it. You can say, here's your organizational chart, and these are your tasks, but it doesn't mean that they're going to do it. So documentation is everything. Number 3. Your calendar controls your life. Now, I don't know, I would like to say I'm relatively old school, so I still like paper, pencil, and the colors and having multiple markers and different colors of ink, and Then I also try to use my iPad to keep, digital things. And I try to make sure that my calendar for my paper calendar is synced with my Outlook calendar because I need those reminders. Because as soon as I go away from my paper calendar, I don't have access to it. But I need it. I need both. Like, I am one of those, I need both. And now I have advanced to having a 365 year at a glance calendar on my wall. So I'm telling you, put it on the calendar. But whatever calendar is going to keep you organized, make sure it goes on there first, okay? So someone has asked me multiple times, how do I get into classrooms? And I know I struggle with that too. We all do because we get pulled. How do I get into classrooms? And my answer is always put it on your calendar. Put it on your calendar, because if you have it on your calendar, it's going to give you a reminder so that even though you had good intentions of doing that and you get busy, something's going to pop up and remind you. And then hopefully you remember the importance of you getting into that room and you're able to stop what you're doing and go. But put it on your calendar. Honestly, all of your feedback could go on your calendar, or having that time, because sometimes you get into when am I going to write that written feedback or provide that feedback to a teacher? When am I going to have time to type it out? Put it on your calendar. Before you go home, if you leave work at 5 o'clock, at 4 o'clock, that's your sacred time to type your notes. You have to do those things because this job will consume you. Number 4. So, like documenting everything, follow-up is critical. I can remember when I was a brand new assistant principal, at the end of that year, my principal's feedback was, I need you to follow up. Make sure you follow up. She showed me how in your Outlook calendar, you can put your tasks and your to-do list, all of that. Because I would say, well, I talked to her. Well, I told her. And she'd say, that's all well, but if you don't follow up with her, it probably is not going to happen. Or how do you know that it happened? So I try really hard to make sure, because we do get busy. That's the reality. We do get busy. But you have to sit there and write down when you need to follow up. Put it in your Outlook calendar to follow up to an email. You can put that flag on there to follow up. You can write it in your calendar. So if you know you gave someone a task on this date, I would highly suggest once you give them that date, you go put a day before it or two in your calendar so that you can make sure that you follow up with them. It's not micromanaging. It's making sure things are taking place and happening on time. You can also follow up with parents. So for instance, Miss Smith called you, had an issue. Johnny was getting bullied. You and Miss Smith problem solved. You guys had a great conversation. You came up with all of these plans for how you're going to support him. And a week goes by and Miss Smith calls you and she says, hey, I was waiting for follow-up. And in your head, you're like, what did I need to tell you? I told you I'd get it done. Like, I got this, right? This happens a lot, right? I didn't know there was anything for me to follow up with. I told you I'd take care of it. You don't say that part, but follow up anyway. Call Miss Smith after a few days and say, hey, I forgot the child's name. I just named him, but Billy, I just wanted to check on Billy. I wanted to make sure that all the things that we put in place are happening, something like that. Or put it in an email, follow up, say, hey, these are the things that I'm going to take care of. I'm going to do X, Y, and Z. I saw one of my district leaders do that in emails that she provided to some of our parents, some of our not so happy parents. And I was like, oh, okay, I understood why. Because they're going to say you didn't do something or you never communicated something. But if you have it right there, followed up in an email, laid out explicitly, you're going to cover yourself. And that's what you need. All of this is so that you can cover yourself, okay? Number 5, find your people early. So if you're an aspiring assistant principal, right now, you may be in a program where you're preparing yourself to be an assistant principal. If anyone is in that program, go talk to them. You have a commonality because you're in the same district. Talk to them, right? If you are a coach at a school and you go to coaches meetings, start talking to other coaches. Ask them about their leadership journey. If you're an assistant principal and you're new, whether you're new to the district, new to the school, new to the position, start networking at your AP meetings. Those are the best people that you're going to meet. But I'm going to tell you this, and I say this with love. Be careful who you share with quickly, okay? The reality is when we become administrators, I hate this, especially when we become assistant principals. A lot of us are trying to be principals. So we still feel like we have to compete with each other. Okay? Be careful who you share your business with. Okay? Be professional, be honest, start to pay attention to people, have discernment in their motives, because people will bite you. And I know it's sad, it's just reality. But I don't want you to be fearful. Okay? I am not very social, but when I find my people, I'm social, right? Because I have waited and I have vetted them and I have learned something about them, or I've asked about them to where I can now trust them. And those are the people that I vent to and I share things with. And even though still to this day, when I think about that and I share certain things, I don't share anything that I wouldn't tell somebody else. Like I've told my boss things about certain things and I say, I would tell anybody. I would tell if there's something that is a broken system or something that's missing. I'm usually the person that's going to notice it, and I'm usually the person that's going to nicely and kindly say something about it. But it's also in how, right? But I know who I can talk to and who I don't tell certain things to. So find your people, find them early. That's your square. Those are the people that you're going to trust. But just be mindful of who those people are and keep that circle small. Keep it small, okay? All right, so those are my 5 tips. And I also wish that somebody would have told me this. When I moved from instructional coach to assistant principal, I took a pay cut. So if you want to know, ask a current assistant principal, someone who is new, ask them if they took a pay cut. Ask them, just ask them. You don't need to know their salary, just ask them. Because nobody told me that. And when I lost $1 per hour, I was highly upset. I wish somebody would have told me. It wouldn't have made a difference. I still would be doing this job, but at least I know my paycheck would have looked a little different. Now, that's just me. I hope that these things, these tips, these thoughts helped you, and I'm always here. So subscribe to this channel, go look at past videos, and leave a comment. Are you an aspiring assistant principal? Are you a current assistant principal? Do you have another tip that you would like to share as a veteran assistant principal to our newbies? Take care.